What's up, everybody? My name is Tristan. I'm one of the hosts for Join the Conversation podcast, and I'm back with you with some new thought-provoking content, man. And this time, I'm tying in two things that I've been thinking about into this one video, but it's all tied into this, the situation that we're going through right now. Rest in peace, Mr. Floyd. That's a very tragic and sad situation, and just flat out disgusting. And charges need to be filed, and that was plain out murder. But I'm not going to go into detail on all of that because there's a lot of people that are making videos, I'm sure, that are talking about that. But I've been thinking about two different things here. So the first thing I wanted to talk about with this whole situation is how there's a lot of police officers that are actually speaking out and speaking out on all this. And I think I saw one that, ended up getting, I believe fired for speaking out. But at the end of the day, man, salute to those officers that spoke out, because that's a lot of people don't have the courage to do that. And I hope that this sparks courage in other officers to speak out, man, because, as officers, y'all responsibility is to, protect and serve the community. Who do people run to when there's an issue, when you can't trust the cops? You know what I'm saying? That's how things escalate, and it's like we gotta figure it out on our own, because when there's a problem, we can't turn to the police because they're out here killing us and they don't, X, Y, and Z. I ain't got to get into details on that, but what I really wanted to say, man, is really just pinpointing on how I hope from this a lot of cops start speaking out, because I know there's a lot of officers that work in, at different areas, different states, X, Y, and Z, that probably knows somebody that's, not necessarily a good cop. And that's the thing, man. It's another thing I want to answer when a lot of people be like, all cops aren't bad. Absolutely, you're correct. I'm sure people know that all cops aren't bad, but it's kind of like you can tie that into, how your mamas used to say, you are who you hang around. So if there's this one bad cop that's, doing everything wrong, doing dirt, X, Y, and Z, that necessarily ties to you, that narrative ties to you, because you're a cop, this person's a cop, so it's going to be an assumption that you're going to be dirty as well. But mentally, people know that all cops aren't, there's good cops out here. The second thing I wanted to talk about was a lot of people are focusing on the looting and stuff that's going on in the riot more than what triggered it. So a lot of people saying, well, looting is not going to do anything, X, Y, and Z, whatever. Y'all shouldn't do that, X, Y, and Z, whatever. My response to that, and I want to know how y'all feel about it and what y'all thoughts on all of that, is a peaceful protest has been going on for how many years now? If you're a person that don't know your history, you need to, just Google, simple Google. You can learn everything you want to know. Just type in protest, how many years of protest, X, Y, and Z. It's been like how many years that there was an attempt of trying a peaceful protest, and tell me, where did that get us? Where did that get people? Not just blacks, but other races as well. Where did that get y'all? But it seems like now that there's a lot of rioting going on, it's like everybody is focused on it now, because nobody was going to really speak out and talk about what happened to Mr. Floyd. It's the fact that there's a riot going on, that's what people are really focused on, and why they're wanting to join this conversation. It's like we can march, we can sing, we can beg, we can cry, we can plead, but how long, how long do we got to keep attempting that and not be heard? I think that's the biggest thing that's being taken away from this. Is it's like, oh, We finally being heard now. We had to go tear up the Target. We had to go, cause ruckus just to be heard. Even with the Ronnie King situation, if you don't know yet, know who that is, Google it. Google him. He was beaten by police officers, and I'm pretty sure they originally wasn't going to get any charges, and because of that, a riot happened in LA, and eventually, I think he got justice, if I remember the story right. He ended up getting justice, and this situation, hopefully it's the same thing. It's unfortunate that it had to get to this point, but people are going to go on. In this case, as a black fellow African American, we're going to go unheard for only so long. We're going to ask nicely only for so long. I want to point out something else too. And I'm standing by everything I'm saying right now. My generation, the generation that we in right now, is completely different from the previous generation. I've always said this to people. I've always said this to my friends. Everybody that knows me, I always said this. My generation is completely different from the last generation. Last generation, they peacefully protested and got beat, kicked, spit on, sprayed by water hose, bitten by dogs, X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you believe that this generation is going to allow all of that to fly, you're mistakenly wrong. And I've always said this to people. And what I'm getting at when I say this is that times are different. We've tried the peaceful thing. We continue to try the peaceful thing. And it's like, at this point now, this is only something simple at the moment. If you think about it, it's only something simple that's currently spreading. It's simple right now, but it might end up spreading even worse than what it is right now. But it's something simple right now. But if sooner or later we don't be heard, hey man, I don't know what to say. I just don't I don't know what to say, man. So, like I said again, my name is Tristan. I'm one of the hosts for Join the Conversation podcast, here to pick your brains a little bit. I want to know your thoughts on, do you believe fellow police officers should start speaking out more, as well as what's your thoughts on the whole rioting, I also want to acknowledge, I'm not saying that I'm supporting the riots. I'm not saying that I support that. I feel like, but I personally, who I am, I prefer a peaceful approach. But I also know that if someone ticks me off, so at this point, it's a lot of fed up people because they probably, similarly, I ain't got to explain. Y'all are very intelligent, so I don't have to explain all that. So yeah, I just want to know y'all thoughts. Y'all be safe out here.